What's up guys, welcome back to Codify. Now today we are going to talk about the differences between compiler and the interpreter. Now both of these convert the high level languages like Python to machine readable code, but both of them does it in a different way. The interpreter compiles each line one by one, checks for errors and then goes on to the next line. Now if there is an error in the one line, then it won't go to the next line. It will stop the program there, prompt the user about the error and then ask him to rectify it so that they can move on to the next line. But the compiler doesn't do it in that way. The compiler compiles all the code in one go and then prompts the error to the user. Now both of them have different applications while at different stages of coding. While you are developing an algorithm or something of that sort, then it is wise to use the compiler because you don't know whether you will encounter an error or not. After you have compiled your code on the interpreter, you know that there is no error in that code, then you can move on to the compiler because the compiler is more of a permanent kind of a thing. Now let us see what Python offers us in these fields. We will type ideally, and now this is the Python interpreter. Now by pressing Ctrl Shift and N, we get the compiler. That's it. Now we have the interpreter on this side with the compiler on this side. Let's see the compiler at first. You don't need to understand the code at this point. I'm just showing you an example of an error. Like I am trying to add an integer with a string. Let me write another line. Now this will produce an error because string and integers cannot be added. We'll discuss more about these in the next videos, but for now just let's consider that this is an error. So when I run this program, okay, I need to save it. Now this is another thing. While you're saving your Python program, you need to save it with a .py extension. Like for text files, you save it with a .txt extension. Like for C programs, you save it with a .c extension. Similarly, here for Python, you have to save it with a .py extension. So let's save it, and now the program compiled itself and then shoot out the error. Now let's see what will happen if we make the same error here. Look, it won't allow us to even write the next line. It checks for errors in every line. Now let's see if we convert this 4 into a string, then it's giving us 40. Like we need not go into the details of this, but once there is not an error in each line, then we can move on to the next line. But however, the compiler gives a more of a permanent kind of a thing, because if I close this, I won't get whatever I wrote here back. So once I have tested my code, it's wise to write it in the compiler and then run it, because even if I close this, I will get it back again. That's what I wrote. So these are basically the differences between the compiler and interpreter. Now I know that all of you are itching to get back into the coding part. In the next video, we will cover how to take inputs from the user and then print out outputs to the user.